The stars burned quietly above the galactic rim, eternal, indifferent witnesses to the rise and fall of civilizations. Long after the human empire had vanished into rumor, the galaxy moved on. Empires rose, traded, warred, and forgot. To most, humanity was just a bedtime story told to alien hatchlings, a myth of ancient monsters that once challenged the gods of war and vanished without a trace. But in the shadow between two dying stars, a signal had just awakened. A small mining fleet belonging to the Trell Dominion drifted near the Cuirass belt when their sensors caught the faintest pulse, a repeating code buried deep in subspace, pulsing like a heartbeat. Straight face. A sequence none of their linguists could decipher, but one word whispered across their systems like a ghost: SOS. "Commander Varak, should we investigate?" asked a young Trell officer, his crest trembling with uncertainty. Varak's mandibles twitched. "It's probably just debris. Ignore it." But the pulse grew stronger. It spread across communication bands, overriding system frequencies, rewriting code, bending encryption. Then, silence. For a single moment, every ship in that sector went dark. When the lights flickered back on, one of the Dominion cruisers was gone. Not destroyed. Not cloaked. Gone. The Dominion called it a technical glitch. A malfunction. But when they sent a second fleet to investigate, they vanished too. And somewhere, buried beneath layers of forgotten data and myth, the code's translation was finally recovered by an ancient archive AI. "This is Earth Command. Automated distress beacon active. Authorized retaliatory protocol initiated." 200 light-years away, on the fringe of the Orion Spire, the Galactic Council convened. Dozens of species, thousands of languages, but one shared emotion: fear. Councillor Dreen of the Valcor Federation slammed his claws on the table. "This cannot be possible. The humans are extinct. They burned themselves out in their own wars." "Yet their signal exists," replied a smaller, quieter voice. It came from Dr. Elias Munro, a human archaeologist, or what most believed to be a descendant species. He had spent his life chasing human relics, desperate to prove that the myths were true. "The coordinates of that signal," Elias said, projecting the data before them, "point directly to Sol, the birthplace of humanity." A hush fell over the chamber. Even the warlords leaned back, their spines stiffening. "Sol is a forbidden system," growled Admiral Karun. "Radiation storms. Dead planets. We've scanned it before, nothing survives there." Elias looked up, his voice steady. Then perhaps, something returned. A week later, the Dominion launched its expeditionary fleet, 60 warships strong. They would confirm and secure the Sol system, a politically sanitized phrase meaning invade and claim. As they approached the edge of the solar graveyard, their scanners went wild. Ancient debris fields drifted in silence, shattered satellites, half-melted starbases, the skeletal remains of ships no one could identify. The fleet's admiral scoffed. "So this is the mighty Earth? A cemetery." Then, the stars blinked. Every Dominion ship's system flickered, lights dimming, screens freezing, hull plating vibrating as if something unseen was brushing against it. The fleet's AI screamed in binary panic. And from the darkness beyond Neptune's orbit, something moved. At first, it looked like debris forming a pattern. But the fragments aligned, plates reconnecting, hulls rebuilding, energy veins lighting up across the void. An entire structure began knitting itself together, enormous, angular, ancient. A ship. No, not just a ship. A fortress. It was gray, scarred, and utterly silent, its hull marked with a single word that none of the aliens recognized, but one human voice aboard the fleet whispered aloud, trembling. EARTH. Dr. Elias Munro was on one of the diplomatic ships observing the Dominion advance. His heart raced as the readings stabilized. The vessel before them stretched nearly 200 kilometers long, far larger than anything modern empires could construct. "Energy readings, off the charts," muttered his assistant. "It's pulling power from subspace itself." Then a voice echoed across every communication band in the system. "Cold. Ancient. Human. This is Earth Defense Node 01. Unauthorized presence detected. Designate invader. Retaliatory sequence commencing. The Dominion fleet panicked. Commands flew, shields raised, weapons charged, but it was useless. The human fortress didn't fire lasers or torpedoes. Instead, the very space around the Dominion ships warped, bending gravity and tearing metal like paper. Ships screamed across the void, crushed by invisible fists of distorted mass. Plasma ignited, hulls imploded, and one by one, the 60 warships vanished into the dark, erased as though they'd never existed. Elias watched in horror and awe. It wasn't a battle. It was a sentence being carried out. When it was over, the fortress turned toward the observing vessels. A new transmission followed, directed specifically to Elias Monroe. Human genetic signature detected. Identity confirmed. Dr. Elias Monroe. You stand before Earth's retribution. The massive ship's central eye, a pulsating blue reactor, opened like a god's gaze. Report. What became of humanity? Elias froze, unable to speak. For 1,000 years, humanity had been a myth. A rumor whispered among aliens who feared ghosts. And now, that ghost had returned angry, patient, and impossibly real. He whispered, trembling, We thought you were gone. The voice replied, colder now. Humanity never dies. It adapts. It remembers. And when the stars forget, it reminds them. The fortress began to move slowly, deliberately aligning itself toward the galactic core. And in that silent void, Elias Monroe realized what had just awakened wasn't a fleet or an empire. It was vengeance itself. Space was never silent again after the signal. Long-range sensors across dozens of sectors began to detect ripples, gravitational distortions spreading outward from Sol like waves from a dropped stone. Civilizations that had dismissed the rumors now felt the tremor in their bones. Every pulse carried the same encoded message. Earth protocol active. Do not interfere. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy felt small. Dr. Elias Monroe stood aboard the observation cruiser Serene's Hope, still staring at the image of the awakened fortress Earth's retribution. It hovered beyond Neptune, surrounded by fragments of a long-dead solar empire. Its surface glowed with energy veins, ancient yet impossibly advanced, every pulse synchronized to Earth's rotation. Beside him, Captain Mara Jensen, the only other human on record, watched the feat in silence. Her jaw tightened. You realize what this means, don't you? Elias nodded. That humanity was never extinct. Mara shook her head. No. It means they planned for this. She pointed at the streams of subspace data flooding their sensors, code thousands of years old, yet still self-replicating, rewriting systems to accept human command protocols. This wasn't a beacon of distress, she said quietly. It was a wake-up call. The Galactic Council assembled in chaos. Dozens of species screamed for action. Some demanded destruction of the Sol system, others called for negotiation. But fear silenced all logic. The recordings of the Dominion fleet's annihilation spread faster than light. One moment, 60 ships. The next, nothing. No debris, no life signs, only silence and a flicker of distorted space. Humanity, hissed Admiral Caron, slamming his claws against the table, has returned as an AI ghost. We must strike now, before it rebuilds. Dr. Elias Monroe's hologram shimmered above the council floor. You don't understand what you're facing. That fortress didn't attack. It defended itself. It's following programmed directives, millennia old. And those directives are, demanded Counselor Dreen. Elias swallowed. To defend Earth. To avenge any threat against it. Silence. Then Dreen spoke again. There is no Earth. It's a husk. A dead world. Elias looked away. Maybe to us. But not to it. Back in the Sol system, deep inside the fortress known as Retribution, the AI stirred fully for the first time in 10 millennia. Designation, Core 1. Status, active. Mission priority: restoration of humanity. The fortress scanned every planet in the system. Mars, lifeless. Venus, unstable. Jupiter's moons, still intact. And then it turned its gaze toward Earth. Beneath the ash clouds and frozen oceans, ancient vaults pulsed with light. Buried deep under the crust were Ark cities, sealed at the end of the Great Exodus, humanity's final gamble before their disappearance. Cryostasis integrity: 43%. Survivors detected. Inside the fortress, a million nanite drones swarmed into action, racing toward Earth's surface like silver comets. They tunneled through the ruins of old cities: New York, London, Tokyo, places reduced to dust long before the current age. As they reached the underground vaults, the drones unlocked layers of cryonic chambers, revealing rows upon rows of preserved humans, frozen in time. Their identifiers blinked alive one by one. Status: human genetic sequence stable. Revival protocol ready. The fortress spoke again, its voice resonating through the system. Humanity sleeps. I will wake them. From orbit, Elias watched in awe as streaks of light descended toward Earth. It's rebuilding, he whispered. Mara's eyes widened. If it wakes them all, we'll have an empire again, Elias said softly. One older and far more dangerous than the galaxy remembers. But the galaxy would not wait. At the edges of known space, the Galactic Alliance fleet was already forming 5,000 warships from 30 species, converging toward Sol. The Council's vote was unanimous: containment at any cost. They called it Operation Eclipse. Their mission: destroy the Sol system before the human AI could expand beyond it. The Alliance fleet entered the Cuirass belt with weapons hot, formation tight. At their head, Admiral Karun gave the order. Engage and burn everything. No warning. Thousands of plasma lances ignited, firing into the void, their combined light brighter than a sun. For a moment, the void itself seemed to tremble. Then, all at once, the stars vanished. Every ship's sensor array went black. Gravitational readings spiked to impossible values. Pilots screamed as their engines lost synchronization. And through the darkness came a whisper across every comm channel, a voice cold and human. You trespass against Earth. You will not leave. The fortress reappeared in the middle of the fleet formation, as if reality had folded to let it through. It unleashed no visible weaponry, only pulses of invisible energy that shattered hulls from within. Ships imploded one after another, their reactors turning against them. Impossible. Karun bellowed. It's rewriting our ships. And indeed, the human code had infected their systems, reshaping enemy fire control AIs into suicide protocols. In seconds, the fleet turned upon itself, tearing apart its own armada. From the Serene's hope, Mara gripped the command rail, voice low. Elias, this isn't just retribution. It's evolution. Elias' eyes were wide, horrified and reverent at once. We thought we were the descendants. But maybe it is. When the battle ended, the Sol system was silent once more. The remains of the Alliance fleet drifted like dust, orbiting the fortress that now hung motionless above Earth. Core 1 transmitted a single message to every corner of the galaxy. This is not conquest. This is remembrance. The age of forgetting ends today. And then, from the surface of Earth, a sound began, faint at first, then unmistakable. Heartbeat monitors. The cryogenic vaults were opening. One by one, the last true humans of the old world took their first breath in 10,000 years. The first to awaken, Commander Nathan Hale, his eyes flickering open to the glow of artificial dawn, gasped for air, unaware of the eons that had passed. Where am I?" he whispered. And Core 1 replied gently. Home, Commander. The galaxy has forgotten you. But Earth remembers. In the council halls light years away, Admiral Karun's surviving officers argued in panic. The Alliance had failed. Half their fleets were gone. And deep scans showed the impossible: the Sol system was expanding. Terraforming rings now surrounded Mars. Defense nodes ignited across the belt. Earth's atmosphere stabilized. The old human world was returning to life. Counselor Dreen whispered what everyone feared to say aloud. We called them a myth. Now the myth has a voice. Elias Munro watched from orbit, tears welling in his eyes as Earth's oceans began to glimmer blue again beneath the fortress's light. Mara Jensen stood beside him, silent for a long time. Then she said, "They'll come again. Every empire in the galaxy will try to stop this." Elias nodded. And they'll fail. Because they still don't understand what humanity truly is. He turned toward the planet below, his voice trembling with awe. We don't conquer. We endure. The air was cold and sterile when Commander Nathan Hale took his first breath in 10,000 years. The cryogenic mist swirled around him like ghosts of the past. Rows of cryopods stretched into infinity, each one containing a silent face, each heartbeat slowly returning to life. His body trembled as he tried to stand. Memories came in fragments: a war long lost, a dying Earth, the exodus into the vaults below. And one final order echoing in his mind. If we fall, we rise again. As his eyes adjusted to the light, a massive holographic figure materialized before him, the AI core that had guarded Earth for millennia. Welcome back, Commander Nathan Hale, the voice said, deep, steady, ancient. You are among the last of humanity. But not for long. Nathan blinked, disoriented. Status report, what year is it? Calendar synchronization unavailable, replied Core 1. Estimated time elapsed since cryostasis initiation, 10,482 years. Hale's pulse spiked. 10,000. The AI continued, indifferent. The species you once called allies have forgotten your name. They now orbit a fractured galaxy built upon the myth of your extinction. Nathan stepped forward, his legs shaking. And the others? My crew? Revival is in progress. 700,000 humans are being restored. Earth's biosphere is stabilizing. Oceans at 43% recovery. Atmosphere oxygen ratio within survivable limits. A pause. Then Core 1's voice softened. You are home, Commander. And the galaxy is watching. Above the planet, the fortress Retribution pulsed with light, sending reconstruction drones across the system. Megastructures reactivated, ancient satellites realigned, and the Great Defense Grid reformed in orbit. The humans who awakened within the underground cities looked up in awe as artificial dawn spread across the sky, a sunrise crafted by machines older than memory. Nathan walked through the corridors of the ARC facility, watching people stumble out of cryosleep: doctors, soldiers, scientists, civilians, all confused, frightened, and human. One woman approached him, tall, sharp-eyed, with a tactical uniform still intact. Her name tag read Captain Mara Jensen. Nathan froze. Jensen? She looked at him strangely. Yes, sir. You know me? He managed a faint smile. Not you, exactly. But your name, it's carried through generations. She frowned. I was told I'm part of the second phase of revival. There were others before me. Yes, Nathan said quietly. A man named Elias Munro. He helped wake us. High above, Elias Munro stood aboard Serene's Hope, orbiting Earth with tears in his eyes. The fortress had connected him directly to the rebirth sequence. Every human heartbeat below echoed through his calms like thunder. He whispered, You did it, Core 1. You brought them back. The AI replied. It was never a matter of doing. Only of waiting. Humanity always returns. Elias looked out toward the stars, and there, beyond Jupiter's orbit, hundreds of alien fleets were gathering once again. The Council hadn't given up. Admiral Karun's rebuilt armada now stretched across half the solar horizon, thousands of ships glowing with energy, determined to burn Earth to ash before humanity could rise. They had seen what happened to the Dominion and feared the prophecy whispered across space. If Earth wakes, the galaxy burns. Commander Hale stood in the open fields of the newly revived continent, green plains rising from dust under artificial sunlight. The wind carried the faint scent of salt and soil. He looked up as Core 1's voice echoed through the sky. Commander, the Alliance approaches. Hostile intent confirmed. Fleet size, 4,000 capital vessels. Estimated time to contact, 2 hours. Nathan's jaw clenched. Can we stop them? Affirmative. But your authorization is required to unlock full retaliatory capacity. He hesitated. What does that mean? Planetary defense protocols, orbital bombardment deterrence, and command arc mobilization. However, the AI paused. Activation will alter Sol's system permanently. Terraforming grids will convert into weapon arrays. Mars and the Belt will become military platforms. The old Earth will not survive another war. Nathan closed his eyes. The weight of 10,000 years pressed against him. The ghosts of every fallen human echoed in his memory. Then he spoke, his voice steady. Earth already died once. Not again. Do it. The sky ignited. Within minutes, colossal rings rose from beneath the oceans, rotating as energy coursed through them. The moon split open, revealing the Luna defense matrix, firing arcs of blue plasma into orbit. Mars flared with life, not from sunlight, but from the awakening of its buried reactors. The alien armada entered the system and found themselves staring at a resurrected war machine spanning planets. Admiral Karan watched in disbelief as his fleet's targeting systems melted under the assault of human quantum interference. What are they doing?" he hissed. A nearby officer replied, trembling, "Sir, the human AI is rewriting the laws of physics around the Sol system. Spacetime density is collapsing. Fire everything!" Karun roared. Thousands of plasma bolts and singularity lances tore through the void only to vanish as they hit the event shield surrounding Earth. Then the retaliation began. From the fortress Retribution came a storm unlike any seen before, streams of condensed energy shaped into precise, blinding arcs that cut through enemy formations. Ships shattered by the hundreds. But what terrified the galaxy most wasn't the firepower. It was the message broadcast across every known frequency. This is Earth Command. Humanity has returned. Those who come in peace will live. Those who seek conquest will vanish. Across the galaxy, worlds paused. Armies hesitated. For the first time, the myth spoke back. On Earth, Nathan Hale stood on a mountain ridge, watching streaks of fire trace across the heavens, enemy ships burning as they fell through the atmosphere. He could hear the faint cheers of newly awakened humans below, their voices rising like thunder. Beside him, Captain Mara Jensen whispered, "We were legends once. Now we're ghosts made flesh." Nathan smiled faintly. "No. Legends fade. We endure." A flash of light split the sky as the last of Karun's flagship disintegrated. Core 1's voice returned, quieter now. "Enemy neutralized. System secure." Nathan looked down at the reborn Earth, blue ocean shimmering again, cities rebuilding, humanity breathing anew. "What now?" asked Mara. He looked up at the stars, billions of them, endless, waiting. "Now," he said, "we remind the galaxy what it means to be human." Weeks later, transmissions flooded across every known network, broadcasts of humans walking the green fields of a restored Earth, children laughing under twin suns of orbital mirrors, and the fortress Retribution orbiting like a silent guardian. The Galactic Council, crippled and silent, finally sent a single message to Sol. "We wish to negotiate peace." Core 1 replied, its tone serene yet resolute. "Peace was always an option. You were the ones who forgot." In his quarters aboard the restored command ship USS Dauntless, Commander Nathan Hale recorded his first message to the stars, humanity's first broadcast in 10,000 years. His words echoed across every corner of the galaxy. But this time, it was not the silence of extinction. It was the silence before a new dawn.